Welcome back, everybody. Justin here with another episode of PlayStation Underground. I'm here with David and Jonathan from Ubisoft Montreal, and we're going to take a look at Watch Dogs 2, which launches this November on PlayStation 4. Welcome, guys.
Hey, what's up?
It's great to have you here. I'm really excited for Watch Dogs 2. Do you want to give me a quick rundown of what we're seeing here? Where are we right now?
Right now we're in the hacker space, which is kind of the HQ for DedSec. This is where you can gear up. Like, for example, right now we're interacting with the interface for the 3D printer, where you can buy some stuff for new weapons, you can unlock new skin to 3D print your tool afterward and decide how they're going to look.
Oh yeah, some real customization options going on here. I see that you guys already in the background. I see some meme-friendly stuff in the background there.
Yeah, there's definitely we had a lot of fun with that, like, for sure. Like, knowing where the hacker is coming from, there's a lot of fun to have with these things. There you go.
That's pretty cool. You 3D print your own weapons. Well, all right.
Yeah, it's pretty handy.
It looks like the kind of cable management going on the floor that I would expect from a place like this, I think.
I guess so.
There's a unicorn farting a rainbow there.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. There's probably 6,000 memes of unicorns right now on the internet.
So this place is so vibrant, super colorful. This is quite different from what we saw in the original Watch Dogs game, which didn't have quite this much color going on.
That's true. Like, clearly when we end up like exploring San Francisco and the Bay Area, colors is pretty much big and obvious in the entire city, so that was a good opportunity for us to pimp things up a little bit. And also the entire DedSec art direction is focusing on these old school memes and 8 bytes from video games and all the little nuances of old school horror movies and things like that, so we can have a lot of fun with that. Nice clothes, David.
This art direction is really speaking to me. Those harem pants, is that an anagram for maybe a different type of pants that maybe you could want to say directly?
Oh, nice. The one with the belly was great.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, there's a whole lot of, man, you can dress this guy up however you want,
yeah,
huh?
Actually, after the first game, we basically made it so we could use every single clothing that we can use for everybody in the city, and then map it to Marcus, and then we added some extra stuff, like DedSec clothing and, stuff so you can look good.
You got that NorCal lingo in there, the hella faded.
Don't
sneaks.
I look good right now?
You look awesome.
You look great, man.
You're ready for a dog to jump on you or something.
Oh, so what do we have here? Is this like an emote wheel?
Oh. Yeah.
Nice.
You can use the emote wheel to when you cross other players online. Now we're not connected, but if we would be connected, you can cross other players. You can use it also to mess around with AI, and we're going to show that later on.
Nice.
Now we have Satara, so let's go and kick in a mission.
Yeah, let's do it.
We've got all of DedSec dumpster diving through that Galilei intercept.
Anything good?
Metric, a shit tons of good.
I've already picked out a serious opportunity for us. Turns out Congressman Thrust's re-election campaign is getting logistical support from Invite.
That's weird. And illegal.
Right? Why not just give them money?
Invite's got years of collected data. I mean, that shit's worth way more than money.
But why back a doofus like Thrust? Dude couldn't tell his ass if someone fucking handed it to him.
Well, let's mess him up, break some windows, see what he does.
Yeah, create a reaction, might flush him out. Let's announce this. Marcus, you think you can, bitch slap him for us?
Yeah, I got something for him. I'm gonna go fuck up that big-ass billboard with his dumb face all over it. Send a clear message.
And I'm gonna hit up his campaign funding.
And I am going to fuck up his social media, and I am going to fuck up his website, and I am going to fuck up his online ads.
I'm gonna go for another beer.
T-Bone is always reliable.
Your freedoms can only be protected if democracy thrives. The corporate interests are rigging the elections. Your elections. Your favorite social media giant, Invite, knows everything about you. And they're manipulating your feed to tailor your opinion to their interests. They are fooling you into voting for their puppet, Congressman Mark Thrust. Invite wields the single most powerful population control tool ever created. Defend democracy. Help us tear down info. Lend us your processing power by downloading our app, and together, we will expose Congressman Thrust. Join us. We are DedSec.
Huh, okay. So DedSec is trying to kind of recruit people, kind of crowdsource people to join their cause.
Yeah.
Is as simple as downloading it.
That's pretty much the concept. Like you do the operations to expose like more truths, more stuff to people, and then by doing so, more followers get in. Followers are kind of the XP of the game, if you want.
Ah, okay, okay.
So like you gather them, and by progressing, you can level up and get some extra research point. And it's kind of the metaphor also for the progression of the game to get powerful enough to pull up the final acts of the game.
I know
You could decide to go all in online for a very long time and progress there, and then do the story afterwards. So it's pretty open in the way you can progress and unlock this.
Okay, so we are driving through. Where are we right now? We're in San Francisco, obviously, but where
Now
are we
we
headed?
started an operation called Power to the Sheeple.
Okay.
So some people might have noticed that the video was the one that we used at E3. So it's the same operation that we've shown at E3, but it's not the same mission. Now we're going really in the right order with the first mission of the game, where we have to do, not of the game, but at that operation. And we need to go infiltrate Invite, which is a social media company.
Okay.
And from there, gather some proof that they're messing around with the politicians to kind of rig the election, which is kind of on topic right now, like if we're looking at the news these days.
But first,
taking
we're going to
over
go
a
mess a bit with his billboard.
Oh, okay. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, so it's one of the things that we ended up messing around with a lot in the second game is making sure that when you point at a machine, you can control it.
Oh, cool.
Just gonna shut up a little bit so that they can.
I bet all deals are off now. What were the terms?
CTOS code is the base of home software. Collected data sold back to Bloom. At a hefty discount, of course.
Sounds like we showed up at the right time then.
So I assume this is one of many, many different ways that we could choose to approach this mission.
Correct.
mess with
Like
this
right now, it's
billboard.
more of a simple. This one is more like to trigger the whole story. So there's different ways of dealing with it, but it's more of a little puzzle to make sure player get exposed to certain things. So, for example, now making sure every player discovers that you can mess around with the cranes and stuff like that. The thing with open world is there's many different skills, but we want players to be able to approach things the way they want, but we still add defined ways to make sure they discover these things organically without having too much tutorial babbling in the game. So these are nice ways to have simple little patterns to go and mess up with the board, for example, and afterwards you go to the first mission and you understand that these things exist.
I thought he was just going to run the crane straight into the billboard.
You there?
I'm looking right at a giant Congress.
David is a soft guy. He's gonna go.
Do your thing, man.
Here goes.
He's gonna go berserk later on, I
Maybe
guess.
do something a little more subversive. I love that I could tell exactly where in San Francisco you are. When you got up there and you saw the view and everything, you see like the Embarcadero there, the ferry building.
Yeah, there's been a lot of work to be done because the challenge is San Francisco is huge. Like the Bay Area is gigantic, and we didn't want to end up having a lot of redundant areas. So we had to compress it all, but the art team and everybody had to do a lot of scouting. We were literally aligning landmarks together and trying to make sure that once we come back in Montreal, if we had to shrink and cut bits, you still needed to have stuff at the right place, right? Like Alcatraz needs to be at the right place, the bridge needs to be at the right place, and even if you're shrinking stuff, it needs to feel big and respectful of where the place is. So it was quite a challenge, but very fun to pull off. Oh.
Way to go. I've got a whole team of DedSec members out working on Thrust's other signs.
Nice.
Meanwhile, I put together a payload to deploy on Invite server.
Meet me outside Invite and I'll fill you in.
Sure. See you.
As we can see, DedSec are very subtle in the way they do their messages.
Nice. Got to take credit for your work, right?
Yeah, there we go.
So yeah, you were talking about the Bay Area in general. San Francisco is not. Oh, that was sweet. I love that. So there is more than just San Francisco here. You're
Correct.
talking about the larger Bay Area as well. How expansive is the area in Watch Dogs 2?
Well, we ended up doing San Francisco. Then afterwards, across the bridge, we have Marin County. Then on the other side of the water, you have Oakland.
Okay.
We also have Silicon Valley that we're gonna look into a bit later on as
Oh,
well.
cool. Okay, great.
So now that we're ready to really piss off politicians, now we can go to invite for real. And of course, we could decide to do another story. We could manage to do 3 or 4 different operations at the same time. So it depends on how players wants to do it. Some kind of like to start an operation and finish it.
How in depth is the weather system?
Pretty dynamic. Like you can have the rainy day. You can have pretty much any combination you can think of in terms of time of day versus raining, and all of that stuff can happen. But we tried to be respectful of how the weather works here. So like
sure.
there was a lot of raining in the first game, but there's a lot less raining in the Bay Area. So we had to be more respectful of that.
Nice work on the billboard. We wanted a reaction, we got a reaction.
Yeah?
We got an email between Thrust and his cronies. He's seriously pissed. He's trying to pass a law against groups with the capability of revealing proprietary directives and actions. That's us.
Sure sounds like something Invite would want. It's part of the reason why they're helping Thrust.
You need to hack into the CEO's office.
Oh, Mary Catskill.
And here's an exploit to open up the back door into the servers.
Another USB? I could start a damn store with these.
Just don't sell that one.
Okay, let's see how we're gonna do that.
As technologically advanced as society gets, it always comes back to USB, doesn't it?
Yeah, physical acts are still the most reliable way of pulling it off. It's often the problem, right? They think it's secure, but as soon as you physically access it, it's not.
Yeah. Does Marcus ever run into trouble with his cell phone signal dropping out?
Nope. He has the best cell phone in the world.
Connection
running
is
his
pretty
own
good.
San Francisco sometimes have those overdose of connection, but for some reason, Marcus doesn't have that problem.
Maybe he made some proprietary upgrades to his
Yeah,
phone.
probably. Like, you managed to outsmart the phone companies and do something better.
That would be my greatest fear if I was in his position. Is am I going to have reliable access?
Exactly. Yeah, if you lose battery or you lose connection, you're pretty much done.
He just always has his phone hooked up to one of those power packs.
Yeah, you would need to have his entire backpack filled with those.
Oh, look at that.
Nice
I didn't
look.
thought about that, but I'm not really subtle right now.
That's an interesting choice of color.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's if you're going for a stealth, I don't think it's working.
Yep.
Yeah, this mission it can be quite an heavy response on the combat side, so you have to be careful. Let's see if we can find an access, or I guess you're searching for the access key or something. So every mission is pretty open. The level design always let players play the way they want. So there's always optional ways of getting access keys, so that opens up other access, or you can find your own way to brute force in. It's never mandatory to do it in one way. I think it makes the game more fun to let people mess around with it.
So you can use this little drone to remote hack people's phones.
Exactly.
Got hacks on hacks on hacks.
There's 2 drones in the game. There's the flying one, and there's the jumper.
The one we saw earlier.
Exactly. And the jumper brings this capacity to, if you have all the upgrades, of course, you can troll enemies and annoy them around and then try to deal with them this way. It's kind of funny. Or you can use it to physically hack stuff. So this one can help you finish mission without ever getting inside. The flying drone cannot do physical hack, but it can be used to scout. So when you combine elements together, you can finish the game without mostly using Marcus and mission. You can mostly use everything else, which kind of feels like you're more the hacker whenever it gets in. David now is going to go more ghost and try to sneak in and see what happens.
This looks like the kind of game where I just want to run around and just annoy people and just cause mischief.
It's something we're going to do later for sure. Yeah, I have a lot of fun doing that. It's it's one thing to attract people, but starting to annoy them and have them pissed off is kind of another kind of experience. It's fun to do.
Based on what I've seen so far, this just feels like this is so much more of a playground than the first Watch Dogs was.
Oh,
That
now
was
things
not a
gonna
good
get hard.
start.
Good luck, David.
You got him. That's a cool weapon Marcus has, too.
Yeah, the little thunderbolt thing. It's something that we had to think of a lot. Like, we didn't want to have a melee weapon that wouldn't reflect the character. So
Yeah, it feels very homebrew.
yeah, exactly. So the animation director like went on and on about trying to find something that would be custom made. A pool, like it's kind of a pool ball, like
Oh, nice.
surrounded, attached to. It's pretty brutal. I have one at my desk. Colin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Colin made one to me. That every time someone comes to me and the conversation is too long, we're talking about a design like issue. I'm starting to mess around with this, and people are like, they're kind of backing off, saying, "What are you gonna do, Jam?" Like John with that.
What did you say that
It's kind of
deadline is?
addictive to mess around with it. Like, it's like, but it's dangerous.
So they lost sight of you. I assume you're
Yeah,
just
exactly.
trying to kind of
So,
stay out of
like,
sight for a
when you
while
break
here.
line of sight for a certain amount of time, then you can vanish after the meter goes down.
Gotcha.
There's some tools later on in the game you can use to provoke that a bit easier,
Okay.
like mass distraction and stuff like that. Thing is, when they get detected, like combat can become quite interestingly challenging, especially at this point in the game. So it was our way of making sure we balance things out to make sure that the hacking would be very meaningful and useful in the game.
Gotcha. Oh, so what was that he just did?
He did a distraction.
Oh, okay.
So, like, basically, the tool, the distract is messing around with communication. So if you're in stealth, it's gonna hack the phone to kind of try to distract them
That
into
was
something.
not good at all.
Oh, no! No! Okay.
This is how you die in Watch Dogs 2.
World exclusive
Great
PlayStation
job.
Underground
Yeah,
debuts the
there you
death
go.
animation in Watch
This is
Dogs
how
2.
you did.
So when you're doing play tests after you get something all created here, did you ever find that people were maybe doing things in an unintended way that you had to go back and reassess the way that things interact?
Definitely. Actually, we're trying to allow that. So when it was kind of the other way around, like it's like if people are trying something and it didn't work and it made sense,
you
then
find a way to
we're
make it
going
work.
back, make sure it works. So that it doesn't work like. Sometimes you want a combined system, and if you have an idea that it should work, then we should support it and make sure it happens. In the end, it was a fine line. We have 3 different playstyles. You have the aggressor who goes berserk and destroy everything. You have the ghost, like it's pretty much what David is doing right now, which is closer to traditional stealth. And you have the trickster, which kind of hack AI and turn them into against each other and mess around with the drone and do everything from a very longer distance type of situation. And the thing is, you have to balance things out. And if some player wants to do trickster and fail, and if he gets into the other realities of the game, then he can still survive. So it's an interesting spectrum that you have to fine tune without creating exploits, of course. So. So now he did the mass distract to
There you go.
manage to get out of there. Oh, you have someone.
Man, that thing looks like it hurts a lot.
I surely don't want to try it. I don't want to test being hit with that.
Get him.
Probably want to keep moving, or else you're going to end up being pinned down by everybody.
Whew. Did you guys do any location scouting when you were building this social media headquarters?
Not that much. We had to fine tune like these a lot. Like we didn't like replicate. Hey, it's our own creation of a company after all, so we can do it.
Hashtag server room.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see what the cabling looks like for all these server racks.
So the puzzles are back. Like this time around,
Oh,
more
wow,
embedded
okay.
in the environment, so it's a bit more fun to mess around with them.
Oh, cool.
So that one is, let's see how fast David can do it. It's not that easy.
It's been
Oh,
a
okay, I
while.
see.
So I haven't done that one.
Probably faster with the drone.
There you go.
There you go. Nice. And that's how hacking works, just like in real life.
That's simple. That's it. You align lines like that, and you can hack the world.
You the man.
Okay, what's up with this?
You seeing what I'm seeing?
Looks like... Shit!
They're using Bellwether. Damn. That means Bloom is behind all of this.
Oh man, they're manipulating people into voting for Thrust.
Know what? Should be easy to refactor this to push against Thrust.
Ah, that's genius. Do it.
Political espionage.
Now get the hell out of there.
Should be fine. You took down quite a few, so.
So the hostiles being outlined there, is that like a perk that you unlocked, or is that?
It's happening at the beginning of the game, but you basically need to tag them. So you need to connect the line that you have there. Like you need to see them once, and then afterwards they get tagged. So
Gotcha.
when you arrive at a place, you don't see them, but if you scout around, then there is one perks you can get for the flying drone, where he's gonna be able later on to tag them through walls, so you don't have to have a line of sight on them. So it accelerates the process later
Oh, cool.
on.
Seems like all the different civilians wandering around all look pretty unique. Or how's that working? I remember in the first game that was a big talking point for you guys, was talking about how every civilian looks different and unique and has their own thing going on.
Yeah, we've pushed even more of that, making sure that you don't cross into combinations, and making sure that when you profile them, so when you lock them, like the characters, that's how you can profile the information. And now right now David is he's kind of being hacked by an AI somewhere, so you're gonna have to try and find him. So kind of a snapshot of how it feels when you get invaded by another player.
Our favorite monkeys are at it again.
But this time around, it's more like an AI doing it.
Our crew for intel. This shit has got to stop. I think I can pinpoint where they are.
Get him!
Satara? Shit! Motherfuckers think they can hack me? Where you at, asshole?
Yeah.
That's what happens when you hack in.
Gained 9,000 followers for taking that dude out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a good hit like that is pretty popular.
Yeah.
Like,
Basically, from here, what we can do is continue the main operation, trying to figure out what Trust is up to. But we thought that it would be a great opportunity, especially since we're here today in San Francisco, to go maybe visit some of the places that we have not really shown yet, especially Silicon Valley.
Oh, yeah.
So
Absolutely.
what we could do is maybe go and have a quick look at all the different big tech corporations that we have in there, starting with Bloom.
this time around, everybody have their own profile, but you can change their profile on the fly, and then those kind of skills help us give more analog like tools to players, so any car can be messed around with, so, and any NPC as well, so it helps a lot.
Are you sure you want to hand it all over to Miranda? Proper channels take a lot longer.
Well, the longer it takes, the more it's in the public eye. This is long-term damage to Bloom's reputation. Plus, Miranda needs this one.
Just leave that anywhere.
We owe her.
Yeah, you're right.
This is Blue. It's one of the effort we did in the game, making sure that all the big corporations had their own brand and logo. Bloom is easy because it was the first one. It was the one we had in the first game, and it's important in the Watch Dogs universe. But want to make sure you feel what's going on in there, and then, of course, you're going to have a chance to go there eventually in the story. And these guys have contracts with everybody around them. So, like, one of the cool thing about this place is we've made it kind of in the middle of San Francisco and Silicon Valley. So it's kind of in the crossroad there, kind of like
nice
the
central
Eye of
location.
Sauron watching at everything. And then afterwards, we have the other companies that are more like a reflection of companies that you guys might be used to. So the purple icon you see there is like every purple element is an online activity as well. So that means there's some multiplayer like co-op missions happening in these areas, and there's also something going on in the story there as well.
Oh, cool.
So it definitely gives you a sense of scale of
that's a good point. Like,
how big this building is and how far the city is from here too.
Oh yeah. Got the pyramid in the background there.
You were going to ask something.
Yes, I was going to ask. So open world games, you can choose to rush through the game and finish the story, or you can choose to go and do every last thing there is to do in the game. What's the spread between the amount of time it takes to finish the game versus the amount of time it takes to go do everything there is to do?
I actually never race through it as fast as possible, but I would estimate it around 20 hours or maybe 15 if you're really good.
Just to blast through
But
it.
that would be a blast through of the minimum requirement of all the operations to have enough followers to finish it.
Okay.
In terms of story, right? But doing everything, then it climbs into the 70, 80, probably more hours than that, because there's a lot of online stuff going on. What the hell are you doing now? Like,
I'm
dancing
dancing
with
with
a
a robot.
That's with the robot. Why wouldn't you?
I
Of
don't
course.
know. Like, I mean, why not?
The robot looks so happy too.
They are happy.
So we popped a trophy back there. How are you guys approaching trophies in Watch Dogs?
In Watch Dogs 2, the trophies, we wanted to encourage players to mess around a lot. So
Okay.
trophies are a lot about, they're not as hard to do, like for
Okay,
some of
yeah.
them. We wanted to avoid the too hardcore like type of trophies and focus more on combination of elements. Open worlds have a lot to offer, our game have a lot to offer, and sometimes based on your interest, you might end up focusing on certain aspects.
And here we're getting in the Noodle campus.
Ah, there you go.
Noodle.
I don't know what that company is at all.
I love noodles.
I love this
I like
place.
ramen. I
Yeah,
like
it's a really
udon.
fun place to be in. A little fun little campus. Great place to take pictures. This entire vibe of every company's trying to make this paradise for you to go and work there. Like
Yeah.
that's really what Silicon Valley is all about.
Yeah, you guys nailed that aspect.
Oh
of it.
yeah.
I love that even the logo for Noodle looks like it's made out of noodles.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, taking pictures of these things. Like, is there a... Oh, you put the robot in. That's one of the acts we can mess around with. This is dangerous. Like, robots are... when they love people, they want to hug them. But they don't have any arms to love.
The robot uprising, it's happening. You are just creating the robot uprising here.
Yeah. You can use these guys and mess around with them against other enemies. But they can be quite tricky and stealth, like when you start having to do missions with them. We have two types, like these are more greeting robots, a bit like you can find in some places, and we're not inventing that much, those robots. That's what's crazy about it. And then they can greet people around, and you have some that are more like for protecting areas. Those are a bit more dangerous for stealth.
I love that you just took this tiny little baby car. Can you take this thing off of some jumps or something?
It's a noodle car.
A noodle car. You get a little boost on it.
Probably not as fast, though.
Man, you beat that thing up quick.
And now another big one, Galilei, which are more focusing on the space program.
Oh,
So
okay.
this one has an interesting role to play in the game as well. And for each of them, like making the branding, making sure you find people sometime in the street that have like T-shirts and logos of them, so that's part of the fun, to make sure that people are proud of these companies, and then they think that they're doing great stuff for the city, while others are a bit more frustrated at them. So we still have this feeling of the hipsters against the techies type of like feeling you would find in the Bay Area. So that was really fun to explore these things around.
Huh. Yeah, that's got to be an interesting challenge for the design team to try and create all of these different brands and these
That was pretty,
ecosystems
yeah, that was a
around
lot
it.
of work, actually. Very early on, there was already a guy, like, working at designing the logos and looking really closely at the style you would find in those companies, even the mantras that these guys had. So you want to really give a feeling to each of those companies. So it takes a lot of work to make sure they have a soul. And
Creating these promotional
Yeah,
posters
exactly.
for each one. Yeah.
yeah, I would be curious to see how much like promotional material has been done. Like, it's crazy.
You guys should release an art book. Show off a bunch of that
yes,
work.
I think so. Like I don't want to say yes for sure, David. We release an art book.
There is an art book in
Yeah.
one of the collector edition.
Oh,
There
cool.
you go. Thanks, David.
There you go. Yeah, time to switch out to some fresh new duds.
Now you're gonna be a proud fan of Galileo.
Oh, so you're just buying stuff from the gift shop?
Yeah. There's literally everything, like in terms of clothes, can be bought in this game.
Oh,
There's
man.
a lot to be messing around with.
Collectors are going to have a lot to do here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Go to every different building, buy out the
Yep.
entire gift shop.
Oh yeah, there's a lot to do for sure. Okay, now what do we do next?
So it's been nighttime for a little while here. How long is a day-night cycle in Watch Dogs 2?
It's a lot faster than real life. I don't actually remember the exact ratio. Like I think it's about 1.6, even maybe faster than that. So it should come back to daytime like soon.
Kind of tranquil. It's
Yeah.
beautiful in its own way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. So now I think David is going towards Oakland. A lot of billboards. There's a lot of graffiti too. I know, like I know a lot of cool artists to do so. They did a great job.
It looks like every building is completely unique too.
One Square, great spot. Tourists in Oakland. Even though a lot of people go there for San Francisco, there's still some pretty cool stuff in Oakland to be found.
Yeah.
I don't stand
some street
people who play
performance.
guitar do
Oh.
something.
Even if he's wearing a goat mask?
It's an interesting combo. I mean, hey. Oh, he doesn't like getting pictures.
Yeah, he's not happy to be in the background of your photo.
This guy is up to something. Guy with the. Now let's see. So, like the little glitch there, when you use your net act, that's kind of how you can explore in the game to find interesting stuff to do. Like, for example, this could be either. Actually, that's a key data. So, like, it could have been like points for research point. It could have been money. This time around, it's a more special type of intel that you need for certain skill.
Oh, okay.
We'll try to see if the green one are important.
So when you find key data, you definitely want to pick that up.
Yeah, you definitely want to pick those. Certain skill requires a specific key data to be unlocked. So
Gotcha. And it's
But,
being protected.
yeah, it seems like that's an important thing. That's one of the big thing we've added in the second game is that you can find these protected areas right into the open world. It's not like you don't need to load a mission or layer these things around. There's a lot of these gameplays just there. There's hundreds, like there's more than 100 of these things like in the world, so you can find them. Sometimes you're gonna find some cool collectibles. Other times, more meaningful elements that are for the progression. Now I think David sees the amount of AI there's in there. He's gonna try and mess around from a distance to make it easier on himself. Lucky enough, you have all the upgrades right now, so it's easier.
Man. I see some boats docked down there. Can you do anything with those?
The boats, yeah, of course, you can drive them. There's
Yeah.
you even have a selling boat, like with the real wind stuff gameplay, and
So
then we
racing
can mess
around the
around
bay.
with that.
That's awesome.
I'll check that out afterwards. Maybe call a hit on something, like, or try to have some. We
Yep.
called the cops earlier on. Now we can call like the enemy factions or create some gang war, like, or anything. So that's those are a bit more brutal than the cops. So they're not gonna say someone's shooting elsewhere. We're gonna go elsewhere.
So yeah, if you're careful, you can really just kind of neutralize this area
Yeah.
without Marcus being in any real danger.
There's definitely ways to do that. Like some are easier to pull off than others, but You're still gonna have to work and think it through to pull it off.
Is Marcus left in a vulnerable state when he's controlling the drones?
No, it's just that if he's not in a red area, like if he's in the red area, he's trespassing, so people's gonna attack him. Or if he's too near, people will come and warn, like just gonna issue the warning, and he can relocate. But if he's far enough, nobody will know what they're doing.
Yeah,
but if you
won't
act
really
too
bug
much
him.
stuff, and it starts to feel like the world's gonna end and cars are killing people without explanation. If it starts to be too hardcore, people will shut down CTOS and start searching the area for a hacker. So like it's still gonna bring some tension if you're not like like polishing the patterns at which you're doing your stuff. So there's still a challenge in there.
I love the name of that launcher, by the way.
Yeah, like we mess around a lot with the names of the guns, like trying to make them more DedSec friendly.
Oh, did Marcus just give that guy some good news?
It seems so. Let's see what that key data is doing.
Ooh!
Oh, of course, that was very
Oh,
stealth.
he went over the edge.
That was pretty brutal.
Stone cold killer, David.
We got what we want. I'm out of here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Marcus seems very nimble, very agile.
He is. Like it was one of the, all the animation has been redone to make sure it fits more like the younger, agile. Like I want to go through it. It's kind of a good like mirror of his personality. I'm ready to do anything in order to change something. So it's the younger, naive but courageous type of, let's go through the wall and make something happen. And that kind of movement sets the tone properly for that, I think. There you go. So if you look at the map, David, just for a second, like just to give it a sense of it, like all the skulls in there, for example, are stuff you can discover in the world. So there's no longer any go to a place, unlocks 20 icons or something like that. It's more about wandering around in the world, using that act, talking to people. Then the system teases you on something, and you can decide to do it right away to clean up stuff as you go, or you can come later on afterwards once you've discovered them. And that's through that loop that you can find also side operation. You said you were a big fan of side missions.
Yeah.
And those side operation are in the same kind of discovery loop pattern in there.
Oh, and here's our upgrade tree
Yeah,
here.
exactly. So that's the research tree. Now we found like one of the key data. So the late skills need a special key data to be unlocked on top of the research point.
Okay.
The others simply requires research points to be done. Like one of the ones we can upgrade. So David is taking botnets now. Botnets is the
that's what that little meter
acting module on the bottom right.
Okay.
So this is kind of your mana if you want. Like so the more it's the more you get followers, the more you can spend on botnets. It's like people are sharing hardware with you, and they need to reboot the system every time you're hacking. It's just like something. So
I appreciate that you put it into RPG terms for me.
Yeah. So if you push the system when you add the entire wheel, and you can also reduce the cost of certain skill later on, then it gets the hacking to its full potential. Something I really wanted for this game was to make sure that when you get hack vehicle, for example, you can do it 2 or 3 times and like, oh, that's really cool, and you have plenty of ideas with it. But once you have almost infinite hacking vehicle, then it's another game, right? So you feel like you're progressing, even with the same tool, to make them even more meaningful, especially when you get online and start messing around with other players.
That sunrise over the bay.
Yeah, always a pleasant sight. Hey, what's up? There you go.
Who are you talking to, Marcus?
He's talking to the players. That's a meta thing. Does that all the time. He's weird. No, I'm kidding.
So yeah, that's part of what we wanted to show you today.
Yep.
How customization works, how you can then tackle the narrative in any way you want. Our missions are really 360 layouts that you can approach in really, really different ways, and that are pretty hard, as you could see, since I died once.
Yeah.
And
he knows the mission pretty well.
Yes, and Silicon Valley also, which is going to include all the different corporations and companies that you're going to be able to run across as you play the game and discover how the stories unfold. So...
Well, yeah, we covered a lot of ground here.
We did.
Yeah.
Maybe we should close out this episode on a boat. Can we get on a boat?
totally do that.
You have a sailboat somewhere, or motorboat, or anything?
Boat.
I just want to see some
sunrise.
boat action here. Here we go. We've got our pick of the litter. All kinds of different boats here. Man, how many boats are in Watch Dogs 2?
Well, there's a lot of boats in San Francisco.
Yeah, there are.
Actually, we were wondering if we wanted to do sailing at the beginning of the game. Like, we were saying, did we do sailing? Is it really, like, something that's necessary? And then we ended up, like, just in San Francisco, looking at the water, being, oh, yeah, we kind of have to do sailing. Okay, you're getting shot.
Oh my!
I think I stole
You're
a
stealing
gang
a
boat.
sailboat.
Yeah.
Well, it can be expensive.
They are
Oh
mad.
my goodness, this is fantastic. Yes, this is how I want to end this episode of PlayStation Underground.
Reinforcement is being issued, man.
Oh my goodness. So this is Watch Dogs 2. Oh, thank you guys so much for joining us here. Watch Dogs 2 comes out on PlayStation 4 in November
15th.
15th.
Yeah.
November
So it's
15th.
like less than a month now.
Less than a month away from Watch Dogs 2. By the time we publish this episode, it should be pretty close. We're getting close to Watch Dogs 2. Looks like a massive improvement over the first game, which was already pretty darn good in my book. I'm really looking forward to Watch Dogs 2. You can steal a sailboat and cruise around the San
There
Francisco
you go.
Bay.
Embrace
Come
the
on.
wind.
What
There's even some
more do you
race
want?
you can do and stuff.
PlayStation